is where the fun begins.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sith Talk. Today we have on the show Cole from the Mortis FM YouTube channel. How you doing, Cole?
I'm doing all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your channel, what your channel focuses on, and where we can find you at.
So Mortis FM, as you've seen from my co-host, since you've already talked with him, Mortis FM is essentially a passion project between myself and my best friend Grayson, and we basically just right now we were covering the Ahsoka show. But since that's all well and done, now we're just going to go into the general Star Wars atmosphere. Anytime you drop in, you can just listen to us talk about any random topic that happens to that we happen to come across that week. And as of right now, you can find us both on YouTube and on Instagram at Mortis FM. And you can personally find me on Instagram at the.cosmic.drifter, because I also do a little bit of stuff on the side. But yeah, that's basically what it's all about. Just kind of talking about the thing that we love.
Yeah.
Passionately,
Nice. So yeah, you guys watching and listening, be sure to check them out. The link will be down in the description. So like I was telling Grayson last week, when Lainey, we have like a little group chat, and when Lainey sent the link, she was like, "Oh, check out my friends." I was like, "Yeah, I'll check them out for sure." And then after like halfway through listening to your first episode, I was like, "Man, these are some cool dudes. I have to bring them on Sith Talk." Like I already knew instantly that I could vibe with these guys, that they need to come on the show.
Man, like just hearing that, because I remember Grayson telling me he was like, dude, Lainey like showed our stuff to some of her friends, and like they like they're all over it. They just like how passionate we are about Star Wars, and I mean that was just very validating, right? Because I mean, him and I, the idea for Mortis FM was how much Grayson and I talk about Star Wars just recreationally. I mean, we talk about it basically every day, at least a little bit. Like amidst our regular conversations. And when something was coming out, I think it was like we were having some discussions about Jedi Survivor and some of the upcoming stuff. I know Ahsoka was about to come out, and like we were having these discussions about the future of Star Wars. And this recurring theme in our conversations is like, dude, we just need to record this, because we have such good conversations amongst each other. And you know what? I was like, we both just kind of mutually agreed, but we were both just like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's record it, right? And we came up with a billion ideas for what we wanted the name to be, and a lot of it was puns. And we had to find out what wasn't taken. And eventually I was just like, you know what if like Mortis something, like Mortis Radio, Mortis FM. Thankfully, there's no one really associated with Mortis because it feels kind of niche.
Yeah.
But we kind of chose that because Mortis is just, it's this niche part of Star Wars, but it's also all encompassing.
Yeah.
Like you could think of Mortis as like this shadow on the wall epicenter of Star Wars that nobody really know that a lot of the base fans don't know about, but it's something that's still very integral to the universe as a whole in a way that we don't know.
Yeah.
And so we thought it would be kind of cool and all encompassing. But yeah, that said, I'm super grateful. Both Grayson and I are super grateful for you guys bringing us on, just kind of getting us into the community.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, thanks so much, man. Thanks for
course.
having me on.
Of course. Yeah. That's another reason I made this podcast and this show, because literally this is the 42nd episode, and every week it's just a different content creator. So it's always people that I've either seen on YouTube or Instagram or through friends. So yeah, man, like this is literally just where the fun begins,
This is where the fun begins. Let's do it.
What were some of the other names that you guys were like almost like, what was like the second name? If it wasn't Mortis FM, like what were you this close on?
So I really liked Punch It podcast.
Punch It.
Like it really rolled off the tongue well, but then we found out that there was one called Punch It Chewy. And it just felt a little too close.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, what if we did now this is podcasting?
Oh,
But somebody else did that too. And so like it was
yeah.
basically just this constant interchange of, what if we did this, and then we look it up and someone's already done it. Um but yeah, I think those were the top contenders. I really wanted to do Master and Apprentice.
Uh-huh.
Um but Grayson and I couldn't come to an agreement on that because it would be interpreted in different ways, right? Someone
Yeah.
would go in and go like, well, who's the master and who's the
Who's the
apprentice?
apprentice?
But
Yeah.
like the reason why I said it, because I was like, that's actually the point. You don't really know, and it kind of interchanges,
Yeah.
we like learn from each other. But I did agree eventually that like, yeah, that probably would cause a little bit too much confusion, because him and I like to we just kind of have this mutual agreement that like we're basically both on the same playing field here, and
Hmm.
so for one of us to be labeled the master or the apprentice, um
Yeah.
and then obviously rule of two, but immediately taken.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really, I think those were the biggest ideas. And then I was just like, what if we just did, oh, initially I said Mortis Archives.
Oh, okay.
And then it the vibe that gave off was a little too studious. And so
Hmm.
then I was like, all right, like Mortis FM,
Yeah.
as just kind of like it's Mortis, where it immediately puts in the mind of all of this mystique of Star Wars, but then FM, which makes it casual and chill. And so like it's
Yeah.
kind of a mixture of the two. So that's basically how we settled on that.
No, I love the name right away. And like now with Ahsoka finishing and in that last episode seeing the Mortis family, like how
Yeah.
how did you guys react seeing that? Especially like how that ties into your name, like exactly.
So as the show was coming out, there was, especially like as people could tell from the end credits, there was a lot of significance with Mortis that was
Hmm.
starting to be hinted at, I guess.
Yeah.
Like how you can hear the sun in
Yep.
like the first episode. And I was like, yo, this this is so coincidental, but it's so great. What if there actually was something Mortis related? That would be
Yeah.
such a great like kickoff for us. And so when we saw the statues at the end, we basically knew like, yep, I mean, this is fate. We
Yeah.
covered the right thing at the right time. So
That's awesome. All right. So everyone that comes on the show, I ask them the same three questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So the first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Okay. So my favorite Star Wars movie is, it changes every now and then.
Uh-huh.
It is a constant battle between Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith.
Yep. Yep.
Um, in order to appease the masses, my gut instinct is to say Empire,
Uh-huh.
because Empire is literally just the perfect sequel. It is a fantasy movie where the heroes lose, which is always one of my favorite kind of tropes,
Yeah.
where they actually lose for once. It's the Empire Strikes Back. But then at the same time, Revenge of the Sith, I have such a strong connection to Revenge of the Sith because, even though I grew up with both the originals and the
Uh-huh.
prequels were the thing while I
Yeah.
was growing up, and Revenge of the Sith was super big for me. I had all kinds of Revenge of the Sith toys. I had like a model of an Arc 170, um,
Nice.
and I look back on it so fondly. So it's a constant battle between those two. I think both of them are fantastic in their own way,
Oh
and they
yeah.
both exemplify two different parts of just why I love Star Wars so much.
Nice, nice. Yeah, man. It's always tough to pick between those two. And like those are most people's favorites is either Empire or Revenge. So yeah, definitely a tough choice for sure.
Well, which one is your favorite? Now I'm curious.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith, hands down. Oh, not even a question.
I
So
probably I probably should have known with the Revenge of the Sith shirt.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that movie, I just literally remember like it was yesterday going to the movie theater. I remember I was living in Daytona when I was in college and I got off of work at 10. We went right to the AMC to wait till midnight because back then you had to wait to midnight for the movie that came out on Friday.
Right.
So we were in there, and it was just so epic because like the thing with Revenge is you go in, you know what the ending is. You know he has to become
Mhm.
Darth Vader. You know the good guys are gonna lose. Like you know it. It has to happen. And just to see it unfold and just the epic fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin and all the dialogue, it's just so good.
Just
Oh,
the presentation is absolutely phenomenal, and
yeah.
especially like with John Williams' score dialing it up to
Yes.
11. It's not like yeah, you know how or you know what happens, but you don't know the how or the why, and
Yeah.
it's all like trying to connect those pieces together, and it's it sucks because in a way it's like the audience is cheering for the downfall of this person of Anakin to
Yeah.
become Vader, but at the same time, you know, you see him put on the suit, you're like, yes, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
seeing the suit at the end and then seeing like little Luke and Leia being born, I was like, wow. And then him taking Luke to Owen on Tatooine at the
yep.
end.
And then you see the shot with Palpatine and Vader and Tarkin on the side
Yep.
overseeing the
The
Death
Death
Star
Star.
construction. Man,
Ah,
that stuff.
goosebumps right now thinking about those shots. Oh my god.
I love Revenge of the Sith, dude.
Yes. So the next question is, what is your favorite Star Wars show?
Mm. Yeah, so Grayson warned me about this one. So I'm gonna try to be super chill. And I'm just gonna tell you, you're not
uh
gonna like the answer.
oh, I think I know what it is.
My favorite Star Wars show is Andor. And I've heard just down the pipeline that you know, some of the fellows, including yourself in this community, not the biggest fans of Andor, which is totally
Yeah.
valid,
No,
totally
no, yeah,
valid.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Man, so how am I supposed to get this across without how am I supposed to talk about Andor in a way that I like it without like
Well,
I
if
don't
you
know,
like it,
man.
you like it, and it's funny you mentioned it because like when I was listening to I think your last episode, like the way you broke it down, because I remember you said you like Andor more than Ahsoka, and I was
Mhm.
like, what? But then like the way you broke it down on why it makes sense, and like you're a good Andor fan. There's two different Andor
I
fans
appreciate it.
because there's like one like yourself that like you like it, but you know that it's not like most people's favorite, right? But
Right.
then there's the Andor fans that are like, this is real Star Wars, this is the best thing, this is
No.
better than everything. Like, so there's two types of Andor fans. So like I respect you liking Andor because like
Grace.
you're just not one of those other ones that compare it to everything else and like, oh, that if it's not Andor, it's not the best. Because those are the ones that just drive me nuts, bro.
Dude, like I mean I am 100% with you on that. I mean, there are two different kinds of Andor fans, and
Yeah,
the people that I hear going like, this is real Star Wars, anything that comes out that's not Andor is trash, like we need more stuff like Andor.
yeah,
You're getting it wrong, my guy. You're getting it wrong. The thing that makes Andor so good is because it's different from what you're used to with Star
hmm,
Wars. Like it's not I think Ahsoka is a better like Star Wars show than Andor,
yep.
but I like Andor as a show more than Ahsoka, if that makes sense. Because I think
No, that makes the most sense, and that's how I always said it. Like I always talk junk. Oh, Andor sucks, but then I'm like, Andor is a great show. Like if it was a HBO Max show about outer space, it's
mhm.
awesome. But like as a Star Wars show, it doesn't check all those Star Wars boxes.
Yeah, like Ahsoka is the definitive like recreation of the space opera that Star Wars is.
Yep.
Um, Whereas Andor is definitely like a different take, right? The only mention, the only inkling of the Force that you get it in Andor is that Luthen has a kyber
Kyber
crystal
crystal.
necklace.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
And here's the thing, like I'm not against that. I adore Star Wars stories that feel so far removed from like the general mysticism of the universe, because
Yeah.
because in that way it tells me that the Force is all encompassing, but not everybody really knows about it.
Yeah.
That's what helps me believe the part of A New Hope where, you know, Han goes like, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no
Yeah,
match for a
yeah,
good blaster at your side. That tells me that like we're at this point in time where the Force is not something that's generally spoken about. You know, it's this ancient religion, right? Um, I mean, even the Imperial officers in A New Hope, your sad devotion to that ancient religion, you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they're trashing on it. And so I think the reason why I love Andor so much is because one, it's in the dark times, which is my favorite era.
yeah,
It's basically this point where it's this point in time where the rebellion is more of like a whisper or a rumor than an actual threat.
yeah,
It's where the empire is the terrible force that we know it to be, because that's
yeah,
when the most hopeful stories come to pass. Like the scene of Nemec's manifesto where like Cassian's standing in the rain and like basically just he realizes he needs to fight. Like I love that stuff.
yeah,
And so yeah, like is it different? Absolutely. It is so
yeah,
different than what we understand Star Wars to be, but I think it's a fresh take. I don't want every show to be like it. I don't think that it is like a new standard for Star Wars.
yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
I just kind of think of it as like a think like the From a Certain Point of View book. Like it's just a different lens to view the universe. So yeah, so sorry about that tangential thing. I love Andor, but I also love
No,
Ahsoka. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is for Grayson. I love Star Wars. We just kind of say that thing. It's just like general. I love Star Wars.
Yeah, with Andor, I kind of like ruined it for myself because I went in with my own expectations
Yeah,
that weren't met. Because, like, in my mind, in my Star Wars brain, before Andor came out, I was like, this show could be better than Mando because it's taking place during the dark times and everybody is around basically in their prime and alive running around. So every episode, I'm like, oh, are we going to see maybe Ahsoka or
yeah,
is
yeah.
Maul or Rex or Vader or this or that. So like I kind of was thinking like, man, like it's just gonna be live action Clone Wars potentially because it's right in that time.
No, it's
So
a good call.
so that was my fault, like being disappointed, like, oh, are we gonna see Maul and Crimson Dawn or something like that,
Hmm.
which would have been cool. And then so that right there kind of like ruined it a little bit for me, but that's my fault. The other thing was just like little like spiteful things how Andor had the budget of 250 million and 12 episodes, but then Kenobi had 6 episodes and a small budget.
Yeah,
I
the
was yeah.
I agree on that. The budget allocation is
Yeah.
dog s. Like I don't know if maybe Grayson mentioned it. Maybe you figured it out by listening to the podcast. Obi-Wan is my favorite character.
Yeah.
I wanted the Kenobi show more than anything, and
Oh my god,
I am
yes.
heartbroken that Kenobi is not my favorite Star Wars show.
Yeah.
It's not. Like there's
Yeah.
still parts of it that I think are good and
Oh yeah.
entertaining, but if you look at Andor and then you look at Kenobi, the production
You could
value,
yeah, it's day and night. Like Andor
it's
was
day and night,
beautifully
man.
shot. All the locations, everything, even the acting, the actors, the script, like it was like
The score, it's
what?
phenomenal. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
phenomenally done. And
So it,
then Kenobi, just what's
yeah.
going on, guys?
So that makes me even more mad at Andor for little things like that. Now the show itself is definitely slow. The first 3 episodes were rough, but the episode where they robbed the garrison and the
Mhm.
episode where they escaped from the prison were amazing. Those 2 episodes are like ridiculously good. I'll give it
Yeah.
that. I love the droid B2MO. I love the droid.
Oh, yeah.
I
He's
love
adorable.
I love Bix, but don't tell Shin. Bix is beautiful.
Dude,
And
Bix is absolutely beautiful. It's a good thing Shin can't hear me.
yeah. But one thing that kind of teased, and I was waiting for it so bad, and they never did it, was the freaking dinner party with Palpatine with Mom Mothma, because they talked about it a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
episodes, and she was didn't want to go, like didn't want to get ready, this that, and like I thought it was gonna happen at the end of the episode, and then it didn't, and then we get the next episode, and it happened already. How cool would that have been? A dinner party with Palps and Mon Mothma and them going back and forth with like their political views. That would have been mind blowing.
That I'm trying to imagine Ian McDermott's on-screen presence as the Emperor, like Palpatine, when he's not, because like you really
Yeah.
only see him as either Palpatine before Order 66 and Palpatine when Luke sees him as the dark side Emperor.
Yeah.
He's not the evil Emperor according to the public. He is the, oh, I did my best to save this society and look what the Jedi did to me,
Yeah.
kind of Emperor. So I would have loved to see that on screen. I think it was a good point that you made about expectations, because Grayson and I talked a lot about that,
Yeah.
about just the plight of the Star Wars fan, where we build ourselves up with these expectations, and then
So bad.
when they're not met, it
Yep.
ruins it for us. Because
Yep.
like, I mean, take the Ahsoka show for instance. I was over here thinking that Marok was like the Star Killer canon version,
Yes.
and when he just when he just died, right?
Nothing.
Died, kind of turned into dust. Um, my gut reaction was to go like, "What? He's not Star Killer," but I immediately was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I'm okay with this,"
Yeah.
because like this time I was prepared. I had expectations for The Last Jedi, those of which were not
Oh
met
yeah.
or were, like twisted around. And like when I saw that movie, I didn't like it when I first saw it.
Yeah.
But now I've come around to it, and now I've come around to a point in time where I just enjoy the ride now.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when they bring up these things, I enjoy it so much more because I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah. So at London the Celebration, they showed us the trailer for Andor season 2, and I gotta say, it does look good. It looks a lot more fast paced and gritty and dark from the
Yeah.
trailer that we saw. So I'll definitely be looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch and react to it. But yeah, and one other thing, like it's a small thing, and I'm just it was like the first project without a lightsaber in it. Like at least like I
Yeah.
wanted something, just an ignition, like maybe in Luthen's shop, he's like, oh, look at this, look what this relic I
Oh, look at
found,
this right here.
Vroom, or something. So I was like, damn it, man, no lightsaber. It broke that chain of every project having a lightsaber.
I think it's like, imagine the buildup, right? What if we see a lightsaber in Andor season 2?
Oh,
You
I'll
know,
be so happy.
because the buildup from that, because what we understand now, like especially take stormtroopers for instance. Stormtroopers in mostly every other Star Wars media, cannon fodder,
Yep. Yep.
immediately erasable. But just like two stormtroopers or a squad of troopers going along, like Rick's Road, like that is a force. You feel threatened while you're watching um Andor. Like especially
Yeah.
the moment where he gets where he basically gets hoisted up by one of the droids, and he
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
taken away by shore troopers. Like they feel like so much more of an adversary. And
Yeah.
so imagine that step up when you see a lightsaber for the first time and you're like, dude, I this is beyond my level. I cannot deal with this.
Yeah.
So if they did that, like if you show a lightsaber at the end, I'm not sure who,
Could be an
Vader,
inquisitor.
could
They
could
could
be an
throw they
inquisitor.
could throw an
That's a great
inquisitor in
idea.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could absolutely do that. I don't know, man, because like we still need to find out the significance behind Luthen's kyber crystal, right?
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there were some people saying that he used to be a Jedi, and
Yeah.
that would make me surprised, but also like, okay, like I'm here for it because Luthen's like one of my new favorite Star Wars characters just because I
Yeah.
love his whole vibe. And
Yeah.
also Stellan Skarsgård's his
Oh,
performance
oh
so
yeah.
good. Especially that monologue about sacrifice,
Yeah.
incredible.
No, for sure.
But yeah, I did sneak a look at the Andor season 2 trailer. I found it online.
Oh, the illegal one.
Yeah, no, definitely legal. Don't worry about it. And I'm just gonna say that I'm super pumped.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So the last question is, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
My favorite Star Wars character is positively Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Which version is more your favorite, Alec Guinness or Ewan McGregor?
It's got to be Ewan.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love Alec Guinness. He
Oh,
gave
of
Ewan
course.
he gave Ewan the
Template.
layout, the fundament, yeah, templates.
Yeah.
Um, but Ewan just took that and ran with it, man. Like his
Yes.
entire portrayal, and I think it's at its zenith in Revenge of the Sith,
Oh yeah.
where you just have this, sure of himself and like cocky and a little smug, but he's the negotiator, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the Clone Wars. I love James Arnold Taylor's portrayal of Obi-Wan in the
Oh
Clone Wars.
yes.
Any scene with Obi-Wan is just a good scene. And I really think that, I mean, Obi-Wan is just inspirational for me, especially from all of those scenes in the Clone Wars and Revenge of
Mm-hmm.
the Sith and in like Phantom Menace. Like
Yeah.
he loses so much, but he never lets it get to him. Even in Kenobi, like he's at like his lowest point.
Yeah,
And
man.
like this is why I still like do like some parts of Kenobi, because like that scene where he lifts up all those rocks, all
Bro.
those boulders, and sends them hurling with Vader, like
Oh.
he rekindles his Jedi spirit.
Yeah.
And I love Obi-Wan. It is a story of loss and depression, but like finding a resolution within that and becoming the best version of yourself that you can be because
Yeah.
of commitment and a mission. And man, he's just like he's a perfect Jedi.
Yeah.
I think like the definition of like a true Jedi is pretty subjective, and it changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like out of true Jedi that I can think off the top of my head, I would say, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Kanan,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Luke,
Yep.
like just those off the top of my head, and there are more, but like Obi-Wan fits that bill. Um, and I just love him. I think one of my runner-ups has recently been Cal. Uh,
Nice.
I'm getting to love Cal Kestis more and more. After I played Survivor, like I cannot wait to see what they do with his story.
Oh, me too, man. Me like Survivor, all the stuff with him and Marin, and now they're on Tanalore. Like, I
Yeah,
cannot. That third game is gonna be so hyped.
and the brushes with the dark side, dude.
Oh yes, that was giving me like Force Unleashed vibes when you did that.
Yes. Dude, he was
Yeah,
going nuts.
yeah,
Absolutely nuts. And I just I it was left off on a bad note. Like I'm worried about Cal.
yeah,
I wouldn't be I mean, if they ended up doing this, I mean, I could see them doing a route or he turns into an inquisitor, or like it's something along those lines, or he uses the dark side in a way
yeah.
that is a point of no return. It might not be a good ending for Cal, because we don't know where he is like after, like in original trilogy time. We don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, it would be so sick if they did it where in the third game, it's kind of like almost two storylines, and you could pick if he stays good or goes to the dark. Like, how crazy would that be
Man,
if it was like two different paths and
Force
almost
Unleashed
like two
style.
games? Yeah,
Yeah, that would be something. I would really I cannot wait to see where they explore like next, because I mean,
yeah,
Tantalore is great. Like
yeah,
it's this really cool planet, but we barely know much about it at this point.
yeah.
Um, and I want to know, like, is that going to be the base location of the next game, or is something? Are we going to do another time skip? Because we did like what
Oh,
was it, like
it
5 year
was like
time
5
skip at
years, something
least?
like that. Yeah, yeah.
I have no idea what'll happen from that. And then I would say my third favorite character, so just top three.
Hmm.
Um, there are so many honorable mentions. I wish I could say HK-47, but I have to give it to Luke.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just because I love Luke as a character so much. I mean, he's like the original hero for me.
Yep.
And just seeing him in his prime is fantastic. And like,
Yes.
did it throw things a little, off kilter in the sequels? A little bit, but like
Oh yeah.
I've still come around to like just his general overall story.
John Fav saved Luke, man, because what we got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in Mando in the finale, that was what I imagined Luke was gonna be like in the sequels, but just old. Like
Yeah,
that badass coming in, all black, black glove, green saber, just kicking ass. Like that's what I wanted to see in the sequels.
That would have been so cool, man.
Yeah.
There are so many. I've gone over so many times on what I wish the sequels could have been, and Luke is always one of the top points when it comes to
Yeah.
talking about that. What about you, man? What is your favorite character?
So
What's your top 3?
top 3, it's Maul,
Oh,
Anakin, Boba Fett. So
absolutely based.
yeah. So Maul, it's something about him since like I remember as a kid seeing the trailer back in 98, like the year before it dropped, we got the
Mhm.
trailer and just seeing him there, he just looked so cool. Then he ignited his dual-bladed saber, and I was mind blown. Like I didn't know they could do that. And then seeing him in the movie with the Duel of the Fates, that epic battle, and it killed me that they killed him so quick. I was like, what?
Mhm.
But then I got into Clone Wars super late, bro.
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't start watching Clone Wars until when did Solo come out? That was
Oh, was it?
2017
I think was it 2019?
or 2019? Or no,
Uh,
20. I think it was 2018 because The Force Awakens was 2015, Rogue One was 2016, Last Jedi was 2017, and then
2018. You're
Solo
right.
was 2018.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm watching Solo and I see a Darth Maul hologram, and I'm like, this dude got cut in half. I had never watched Clone Wars, so I didn't know he came back. So at
Bro,
this was like an epiphany. This was amazing. So after I got out of the
must have
movie
been nuts
theater,
for you.
I was mind blown. I Googled it. I'm like, how is Darth Maul alive? Because I had no idea. And then I saw that Dave Filoni brought him back in the Clone Wars, and he was also in Rebels. So I binged. At that time, it was all 6 seasons of Clone Wars. Then I
Mhm.
binged all 4 seasons of Rebels, and like I fell in love with Clone Wars and Rebels. And after watching Clone Wars, it enhanced my take on the prequels because it just adds so much more depth to the story,
Oh,
like
yes.
putting the prequels to me maybe slightly above the OT when it was always OT first for me.
Mhm.
But everything with Maul in the Clone Wars was insane. He was a savage. Spider Legs Maul was crazy
Yeah.
and like all that stuff. And then in Rebels, like he was a savage in Rebels. He was trying to turn Ezra. He was over there blinding Kanan, doing crazy stuff. And that
Killing
final battle,
Inquisitors?
yeah, killing Inquisitor. He was a savage. But it was very interesting to me how in Rebels he was terrified of Vader. And like that's always stuff that I
Yeah.
wanted. Yeah, because when Vader came to that Malachor, he dipped real quick. He was
He's
like,
like,
"Oh,
"I'm
he's
outta here,
here."
man."
Yeah. So that's kind of why Maul's my favorite. He's just a lunatic. And then Anakin's Anakin. Like, come on. Especially now with the ton of Anakin we've been getting lately with the Kenobi show and now in
Now
Ahsoka.
in Ahsoka too. So much good
And
Anakin content.
so much good. And then Boba Fett. I've always been a sucker for Boba Fett,
Mhm.
even though the book of Boba Fett kind of watered him down a lot.
Yeah.
I still like kind of like blank out the parts from Book of Boba that I didn't agree with. And I still think of like Boba from the OT. Mando Boba is like peak Boba. When he got his
Mm.
armor,
When he suits up, I
yeah,
100% agree. I
that
love Boba.
that was the Boba I expected a Book of Boba, but we did not get. So if he's in Mando season 4, he needs to be season 2 Mando Boba vibes, like for sure.
I don't I don't know what happened with Book of Boba Fett. It's like it's always the shows that I want. They
Yeah,
come up they do Kenobi and they do Book of Boba Fett and then they end up doing them wrong. It's like how can you mess this up? It's so hard to mess
yeah.
this up. So I try to blank out most of the show, but I take parts of it that I like. So
Me too. Yep,
like Boba crawling out of the Sarlacc pit,
loved
love
it.
that. Boba training with Tuskens, that's
Amazing.
great. I love
Yeah,
that.
that lore.
Boba
Yes.
riding a Rancor, awesome.
Yep. Yep.
And then oh man, what was it? What was it? Oh, Boba using the gaffy stick to basically take down Cad Bane. Like
Yeah.
that showdown with Cad Bane, like hey, it if Book of Boba Fett did nothing, at the very least, it brought in a very cool live action rendition of Cad Bane.
It did. And Black
Uh,
Chrysanthemum too.
and Black Chrysanthemum, like I did not expect that, but I saw him and I
Yeah.
was like, yo, let's
Yeah.
go.
And the two Hut twins. It was cool seeing the Huts again.
here's the thing, dude. If they brought like apparently, apparently they were supposed to do a season 2 for Book of Boba Fett. Like apparently there was some setup there,
Hmm.
but uh Tamura apparently got like a call saying that they were putting some stuff on the back burner.
Yeah.
But like, dude, you wouldn't be having to put this stuff on the back burner if it wasn't garbage, you know? They'll look at it and they'll go like, "Oh, what's the problem? Why don't people like this?" Well, it's because it wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Um, if they
So
had done season 2,
yeah.
and they might still, there is such amazing potential for that.
Oh no, there is. There's a million stories you could tell, but like I was watching, I think it was Star Wars Meg's video, and she was saying one of the problems with these shows, like, is they're calling the show Book of Boba Fett, right? But
Yeah.
like the best two episodes are a Mando episode and a Luke and Ahsoka episode. Then you're calling a show the Kenobi show, but it's a lot about Riva. And then like
Yeah.
even with the Ahsoka show, like the Ahsoka show was amazing, but bro, a lot of it wasn't even about Ahsoka necessarily, and like Andor wasn't really a ton about Cassian per se. So it's like all these shows, they're naming it one character, and people are going in and like that's giving them a reason to be upset when it's not even about them at all.
You're
Should they
right,
just
man.
start titling these shows something else instead of that one character?
I can't wait for slightly related to Boba Fett season 2. Like
Yeah,
it's not,
like
dude, it sucks because Book of Boba Fett was a limited runtime too. Like it was a
yes,
limited series, and the best episode, he doesn't even appear in it once.
yep,
Not once. And the next
yep,
episode that he's in, he doesn't have a line. He's at the end of the episode and he doesn't speak.
yeah,
It's oh man, it just felt like it was very disrespectful to the character,
it
and
was,
it you don't understand like why the content that isn't about Boba is all really good.
yeah,
Like Mando being this vagabond and him going to, see Grogu again, like making a little chainmail shirt for him, not knowing how to
yeah,
use the dark saber, getting the N1, like his new customized
yeah,
N1 fighter, which is
yeah.
awesome. And then we go back to Book of Boba Fett, and he's getting knocked out by street thugs.
Yeah.
It's like, what's
Oh
going
my
on?
god.
What's going on, man?
One thing I did love though from that Ahsoka episode, and like it just when I heard it, I was like, I started to tear up. I was like, oh my god. When Ahsoka said, "You're so much like your father,"
Oh
I
yeah,
was just mind blown, and like I'm a little salty that we didn't get to see it in Ahsoka, but like we still need to see
yeah,
when Luke meets Ahsoka for the first time, their first interaction, and them realizing that Ahsoka's realizing that that's my master's son, and then Luke realizing that that's my master's Padawan. Like that moment where they realize that
man.
will be such an epic, priceless moment. And I feel like it's all gonna start with R2. Like I feel like they're gonna be somewhere and R2's with Luke like he always is, and he's gonna see Ahsoka and recognize Ahsoka. And I feel like that would start up the conversation.
That's such a good. I feel like that's probably how it's gonna happen. R2 is like this connecting tissue that goes
Yeah.
through each era. I would really love to see Ahsoka just kind of maybe show Luke some of her holograms of
Yes.
Anakin.
Yes.
That
Oh.
would be really great. Just to kind of get Luke to just see his dad when he was at his prime.
Yep.
And like honestly, I think that if I was telling Grayson, if they had done that episode with Mando being like a vagabond and then having Ahsoka and Luke, and like if they did that at the beginning of Mando season 3,
Oh, it would have been so much
would have
better.
been so much better because then you give Boba all the time he needs, and then
Yeah.
you also put in some more space in Mando season 3 so that he's not with Grogu at the very beginning of the season after
Yeah.
Mando season 2 ending with them being separated. That's I mean that's a whole nother bag though.
Yeah, that was Disney meddling because they wanted like merchandise because that like doesn't make
Yeah,
sense for the story, man. It was way too rushed, way too rushed.
100%.
All right, so next let's talk a little bit about Mortis FM. So, I know that Ahsoka's done. You guys are going to be doing different content each week. What are some of your plans for the future? And like, are you guys ever going to go video as well, or is it always going to just stay audio?
So we have the plans to eventually go video.
Nice.
Obviously, I've got a good camera now. I don't look like a potato, you know. And then Grayson will be doing an upgrade as well soon. So I think we will be going at least like semi video like for YouTube purposes in the future.
Yeah.
As for what we plan to be covering, I think up until this point in time, we've just been doing Ahsoka stuff. So like
Yeah.
we're a very new podcast, very new show, and so we haven't had the time to go over everything about Star Wars. We haven't done all of those really great introductory episodes that all the other Star Wars shows have done.
Hmm.
And so I think we're just going to do a general comb over of just everything Star Wars, a bunch of retrospectives.
Nice.
We just finished our Ahsoka retrospective. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we did one on Andor, on
Hmm.
Clone Wars, Tales of the Jedi, just kind of going over all of the good stuff. And then we also really love just going headfirst into an episode with just like a question,
Nice.
just like a general topic, because I think we said it in the live stream that we did with Will
Hmm.
yesterday,
Yeah.
that like there is always something to talk about with Star Wars. Like
Oh
you could
yeah.
have a 2-hour episode based off of like the difference between bocce and basic,
Yeah.
right? There's just so much to talk about there, and so we're definitely we're gonna be covering that. Obviously, covering the new shows that are coming out, but I think we're also going to be doing little read-alongs.
Hmm.
So we're basically going to start reading some legends, some canon books. Also audience recommended in case someone brings it up, and just kind of have it as like a little bulletin point at the end of each episode, just kind of
Yeah.
go over like, okay, so last time we did chapters 1 through 5 of Republic Commando Hard Contact, which is a book I really want us to cover.
Yeah.
And we just kind of talk about that, and it's a way for us to initially we wanted to do it so that we could get more into the novel side of Star Wars,
There's so
just like
much there. So
there's
much.
so much there, and there a lot of good stuff too, because we really want to get into High Republic, especially with the Acolyte
Yeah.
coming out. Um, so a part of it was for those purposes, but also a lot of it has to do with audience interaction. Like if people want
Yeah.
to, they can read along with us.
That's cool.
Um, and like you and other people that we talk to as well could also do the same thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just a little fun thing that we're gonna do.
Nice.
Whatever. Honestly, the answer is whatever comes up into our heads
Yeah.
is what we're gonna do.
And it's easy, man, because like you even saw how when we were all live together, like the 2 hours flew by like it was nothing, and like we were nowhere near done. So there's just
Absolutely nothing, man.
so much to talk about, and like yeah. So no, I'm looking forward to it. I love since you guys are just audio, it's kind of nice at the same time too, because like when I'm at home, I'll put it on the big TV in the living room and I'll just listen as I'm being productive, like doing other things. So it's kind of convenient because
Yeah.
if it's video, it's like you're kind of watching it. But if it's just audio, you just play and you just do other things. So
I can definitely agree with that. I think even though video is an option, one that we will probably pursue in the
yeah,
future, I think we're mainly focused on audio for now.
yeah,
Um,
for
just
sure.
because it's just incredibly convenient, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I wanted to talk, and me and Grayson talked about it, but Star Wars Celebration, man. So
Oh
tell me
man.
about your experience and what it was like when you guys went to 2017 Orlando Star Wars Celebration. Because I am a sucker for Star Wars Celebration. That's literally why I started my channel.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Uh, and at the time, I had never been to Star Wars Celebration before. I had always heard about it. I was always
Yeah.
like, man, I really wish that I could go. And I had just turned 18. I had just graduated. And as a graduation present, I was basically allowed to go.
Hmm.
And I made the trip there. And this was actually the first time that I met Grayson in person, because we had become friends over out of one of the strangest things, Xbox Live,
Yeah. Yeah.
where we had met. it was basically over someone that we knew mutually. And we were talking about when we had originally met each other on Xbox, Rogue One was about to come out.
Yep.
And I remember like in this Xbox Live party, like we were talking, and like I think he brought up Saw Gerrera or something
Yeah.
like that, and I was like, "Hey, yo, Saw Gerrera, like this guy Star Wars is, because you don't really hear people talking about Saw Gerrera on the
Yeah.
side, at least not back then. I feel like more people will be now." And so we just kind of took it from there. I was like, "Yo, you got Battlefront 2015?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." And so we started playing that, and it just went straight off from there. We basically talked about Star Wars every day, or at least something every day from that point, and we basically just became best friends and decided, yo, Star Wars Celebrations is going to be, 2017. Let's go. And so we decided to meet up there. I was like, wow, this guy is incredibly tall. And then just kind of, anytime I think about like one of the happiest places to be, I think about Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
I was astounded by just how happy and joyous the atmosphere was, because there was an innumerable amount of people there, and yet you all had something in common.
Yep.
There was something you could talk about with there was something that you could talk about with everyone. And I was just filled with elation, because looking around, I mean, dude, you see these people in these Star Wars cosplays, and like people doing like like faux fights, and you walk in and you see a bunch of you see like this group of rebel soldiers running to the ATM, and they all run up to the ATM while Vader is walking after them, and like they're trying to do a cash withdrawal and then get away with it. And then you see 4 guys go by in massive Star Wars Republic Commando cosplays, like all Delta Squad.
Yeah.
And then you see this dude in a 1-to-1 Sith Stalker cosplay from Force Unleashed, where you see the smoke coming out of the mask, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then like I think I remember distinctly the first cosplay that I saw was this batch of Mandalorians that were Ghostbusters at the same time. They were like Ghostbuster Mandalorians. And they had this gag that they would do where one of them would pretend that like his backpack was busted. And so the other guy would take like this thing, and he would try to fix up his buddy's backpack. And there was this LED thing with a speaker that made it like kind of like sparky, like he was fixing his buddy's pack. And I was just looking around, and I was going like, man, I'm never going to be happier than I am right now. Star Wars Celebration, I mean, like we didn't even get to go to all of the incredible panels, but we went to a few, and just, seeing the actors. I briefly saw Mark Hamill walk away. And I saw Tamura Morrison, Daniel Logan, and Jeremy Bullock, rest in peace. Like I saw them on stage. I got to be in costume standing on the stage while Andy Gutierrez was like doing an interview.
Nice.
Like there was like this little cantina section where cosplayers could walk around and pretend like they're doing something. So that was amazing. And there was me and this mutual friend of Grayson and I's that I had made like we made like a deal, or like a bet. I said, how many Darth Revans could I fist bump? and he was like, how many Darth Vaders could he high five, or something like that?
Yeah.
And I combed Star Wars Celebration looking for Darth Revans in cosplay.
Yeah.
And there was this one dude walking around as Darth Revan. Absolutely decked out. Like his cosplay looked amazing. And I went up to him and I was like, can I fist bump you? And he looked at, I distinctly remember the movement of his mask.
Yeah.
He basically went like this. Like he looked me up and down, and you can't see his eyes. You just see the mask. And he pauses for a second, and he says, do you know who I am? And I'm like, yes, you're Darth Revan. I'm looking for every Darth Revan to fist bump. And he says, he's basically like, I am Darth Revan, Dark Lord of the Sith, and he pauses and he's like, kneel, then you may fist bump. And like as
Whoa,
he's
man.
speaking, it's like through this modulator through his mask, so like it's kind
Yeah,
of like speakery. And so
it was him.
yes, that was him.
This picture's 2017 Orlando. I remember I saw there was one Darth Revan. There was like none. There was one.
Oh my god, that's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's him.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yep.
awesome. So okay, so I'm committed to this. Like I have to get my tally of fist bumps. I think I was like at 15 at that point.
Yeah.
Um I went to a knee, and he and he then he basically reaches his hand out, his hand out like this. We
Yeah.
fist bump, and then he does this. But he doesn't say anything. I just thought it was so funny. And I was like, thank you. And then he just kind of like sauntered away.
Yeah.
But his commitment to that bit, like, imagine that, but every other cosplay that you saw, dude. Everybody
Yep.
was so committed to this bit. Like, everyone just loved Star Wars. Now, that was very tangential. I feel bad because I'm not giving you enough time to speak. But Star Wars Celebration was incredible.
Yeah, man. So Orlando was my first celebration, and like I didn't really know much about what celebration was. I think I might have heard about it, but I didn't really put it together that it's an actual yearly or every other year convention that goes to different places. Like I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I was living in Orlando at the time, and I was driving down I Drive, and I saw banners for it, and I was like, "What the hell is celebration?" So I looked it up. Me and my boy Ricky, we went Thursday and Friday because we figured, oh, 2 days should be fine. We don't need to go all 4 days. So we just went those 2 days, and boy, were we wrong. We should have went all 4 days because that Saturday, Sunday at home, I missed it. I wanted to be there. It was such an amazing experience. And like you said, everyone's just happy. The energy and the vibe there. I've never been a place like that in my life, like ever. It's just
Yeah.
such a unique feeling. So after that, like finished, we were like, they announced Chicago. So we were like, bro, let's go to Chicago. So excuse me, we got the 5 day pass because Chicago they did 5 days instead of four. So
Yeah.
we got the 5 day pass. We went to Chicago, had a blast, and from there it's kind of like, man, we can't miss this. So me and my buddy Ricky, we haven't missed since then. We did Anaheim in 2022,
Man.
which was amazing, all 4 days. We did London this year, went all 4 days for London. And the thing with London, I was very curious to see how it was going to compare to US celebrations because, like, I did Orlando, I did Chicago, I did Anaheim. They all felt the same. Happy place, everyone's positive, good vibes,
Uh-huh.
amazing cosplay. So when I got to London, bro, literally the same thing. It felt the exact same. Every celebration to me has felt the same, except for in London, maybe a little less people speaking English because it's very international. Like I met people
Right.
from Japan, from Germany, from Kuwait, from all over Scotland.
That had to have
So
been so cool, though.
it was so, yeah, it was crazy, like, meeting people from all over the world, and they're huge fans, like, it was so crazy, and it was just fun. I just felt at home there. Even in London, in a foreign country in Europe with nothing but people from all over the world, it felt like right at home, which was so unique.
Yes, dude. Like I've only been one time. Grayson and I have only gone one time. We have wanted to go to every celebration since.
Yeah.
Obviously, like money's a thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It always feels more difficult, but like we keep planning. Like, okay, this is gonna be the one that we go. And I 100% agree. It feels like home.
Yeah.
Um, Even though you're in this, unknown place, it feels like home because everybody loves Star Wars.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't have a cosplay when I went to
Mhm.
2017, but out of the like vendors, I managed to get this acolyte mask, which is actually on my shelf up there. That
Yeah.
I did a patchwork impromptu Sith acolyte from the Old Republic MMO.
Oh,
And
nice.
let me lower the brightness a little bit. There you go.
Oh, nice, nice. I probably saw you, man, while I was there, which is crazy.
Maybe I did bring my lightsaber that I
Yeah.
built on Saber Forge about a year before. Um and I got like I think it was like 50 something people to take pictures of me. Like
That's
people would
so
come up
cool.
to me and
Yeah.
go like, "Yo, can we do like a picture?" And
Yeah.
so they would turn around, they look at the camera and go like this, and I would go like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just I just felt so happy.
Yeah.
And obviously like you would do the inverse of taking pictures with a bunch of other cosplayers. Like I'm sure you did the
Yeah.
same thing.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
tons.
it it was just such a happy place to be, and I want to go back desperately. I really want to go to the one in Japan because I mean, for one, I just want to go to Japan in general.
Exactly, yeah.
And now seems like a good time to do it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I know. I'm 100% going to Japan. I've always wanted to go, but like it's an 18-hour flight from Florida, which is wild.
Yeah.
So I've always been kind of lazy, like, but now it's kind of like it's two for one. It's Japan and a celebration. And I don't want to miss the 20-year anniversary panel of Revenge of the Sith, right?
Oh man.
So I'm planning. I literally in London when they announced Japan at the closing ceremony panel. I've been planning since then, bro. So I've
Mhm.
been doing nonstop research on flights, hotels, everything, and like it's not that expensive. I mean, the flight is the only thing that is it's pricey. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but everything else like that I found is like reasonable as if you were just in the U.S. going on a vacation somewhere. So I'm kind of glad they pushed it like it's 2025 because then you have time to save. Because if it would have been next year, man, that would have been tough to try to do that
Yeah.
quick.
I actually thought that it was next year, so I am glad that it's in 2025. So that gives
Yeah,
me more time.
you have a
That'll give me
full.
more
It's
time.
about a full year and a half you have to save and to plan it out. So I'll literally be covering and dropping videos when you could book flights and hotels because you can't really book anything right now. I think come March 2024, you could start to book flights, and maybe like a month or two after that, then you could start booking hotels. Tickets though will probably go on sale. I would guess June, because the same
Yeah.
thing with Orlando and Chicago. There was a year gap, and the Chicago tickets went on sale June of 2018, just
Okay.
after Orlando. So I'm guessing this will probably be similar. But tickets aren't that bad if you get the regular like 3 or 4 day pass. It'll probably be like 200 or less for all the days.
I think one of my favorite parts about it is all of the vendors. 'Cause
Oh
I
yes.
love, I'm a very materialistic person. I love, like, collecting stuff.
Yep.
And so seeing all of those shops, like, I distinctly remember there was this one vendor that I wish that I had gotten this from, but he had this bust of Fixer from Republic Commando. And
Oh,
when I was a kid, Fixer was always my favorite. I always really loved, like, the techie types.
yeah.
And I really wanted to get that, but I ended up getting the Acolyte mask instead, which was still very cool. And
Yeah.
I got those like samurai inspired Star Wars figures. So I have like the Royal Guard and
Yeah.
Boba Fett and one of the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, that's another thing I got to think about is just how much money I'm going to spend on
Oh,
collectibles and stuff.
yeah. That those are like two separate budgets. Like, yeah, when I'm planning for Japan, like there'll be a budget for doing stuff in Japan, but there'll be a separate one that's celebration show floor, celebration show store, because like there's things in
Yeah.
each that I'm gonna have. So that's where it'll get pricey depending on how irresponsible I want to be. But like I'm pretty good on the show floor at Celebration because, like, a lot of the stuff, if I could get it on Amazon or at GameStop or at Target, I don't
Yeah.
need to buy it. I try to get either if it's a deal or something rare and old, or like exclusive just to the show, just to there, because that would be the only way you would get it. Everything else, I'll just get at home.
Exclusive or like custom made?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah,
like because you'll
yeah.
get those vendors that make custom made stuff and then they have it exclusively there, which is just amazing. It definitely, yeah. You also have to think in mind like the meetups and like pictures and autographs and stuff like that. That's a whole nother ball
Oh,
game.
it
There is
it
so much to
is.
go in there.
I know it is. It's a lot. Yeah, I'll probably make a video about that too for people that are thinking about budgeting and stuff because they have to take all that into consideration. Like
Yeah, great idea.
if they want to do autographs, if they want to do photo ops, because all that stuff adds up quick, especially if they have like a great cast of guests going there, which they usually do, man. Celebrations are usually stacked with everybody.
So I have a question for you, Star Wars
Yeah.
question. What is your, just off the top of your head, what is your fondest Star Wars memory?
Oh, it's got to be Anaheim celebration, man. So we got VIP last minute, which was crazy.
Ooh, okay.
And like I'm glad that we did, because my regular 4-day pass for all the major panels, you have to enter a lottery to get in, and I lost
Man,
every single one. Right.
that lottery,
So
dude.
yeah, so luckily with the VIP you get in no matter what. So we went to the Lucasfilm showcase panel on the first day of Anaheim celebration. So after going to that panel, when I got out, I thank my boy Ty so much for getting us the VIP, because if I would have missed that, and being there, I would have been heartbroken, because the stuff that happened in that panel was I almost cried 3 or 4 times within that hour and a half. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. So when we first went in, it kicks off, everything goes black, and then all of a sudden there's like a live orchestra standing in front of us, and they're singing Duel of the Fates live.
Oh
So
man.
that's my favorite Star Wars song, right? So off rip, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. A live orchestra out of nowhere singing Duel of the Fates. So that's how it started. As soon as they finish, Hayden comes out on one side of the stage, Hewan comes out on the other,
That's
to the end of
right.
Duel of the Fates. And I was just like, yo, it's the boys. Because I think at that time it wasn't confirmed if Hayden was going to be there. So,
Yeah.
like, that's like, oh, he's here. He's right there. And they came out and they're like, do you guys want to watch Kenobi with us tonight early? And we were like, yeah. So
Dude,
he
that was
said, all you guys, you'll get a wristband. You're going to come back tonight and watch the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka with us, like 2 hours before it went on Disney Plus. So that was insane. And I'm gonna talk about that experience in a second too. So after that, a bunch of announcements and stuff. Like I think they brought out John Watts talking about Skeleton Crew, and John Fav and Dave came out talking about Mando. But literally out of nowhere, the stage lifted up, did a 360, and on the other side of the stage was John Williams with his orchestra, and
man.
they did the Kenobi theme, they did the Indiana Jones theme, they did the Imperial March. So we got to hear, and that was bucket list for me, seeing John Williams live, because like
Yeah.
at that time he wasn't even doing any shows in the US. He was doing a bunch like international.
Right.
So, and it also was his 90th or 91st birthday on top of that. So he was there on his birthday.
Wow.
And as he was performing, Harrison Ford just walks out on stage to say happy birthday to him, and just to say hi and what's up. So just like so much happened in that hour, like seeing John Williams, seeing Harrison Ford, seeing Hewan and Hayden, getting the invitation to come back. And then we came back that night. We got back super early, so we were the first ones in. So we were sitting front row for the premiere.
Front row
World red carpet premiere Kenobi. And then when it starts, Hewan and Deborah Chow came out to kind of kick it off. They played the 2 episodes. There's about 5,000 of us in the room. And when the second episode finished, like the second episode ended with that crazy cut to Vader in the back of the tank, and he opens his eyes, the whole arena went nuts, right? I remember that, like that scream like it was yesterday. And then literally the entire cast of Kenobi came out on stage, and they were all there watching it with us, like in the back, and we didn't know it. Even little Leia came running out on stage. So they were all there. So like that experience is probably like my greatest Star Wars experience.
I am so jealous. My memory, like my fondest memory, it like pales in comparison to that. I literally was just gonna bring up like a childhood memory of me watching Empire Strikes Back. Like,
no, that's awesome too.
There was this it was like one of my first memories of Star Wars that like my dad had put on Empire Strikes Back on like our old TV. And at the time we used to live right down by the beach. And it was the hottest, it was like one of the hottest summer days I had ever been on. I had just finished cutting the grass. I was like, oh man, like I just feel so bad. And I remember just watching Empire Strikes Back and seeing Luke on Hoth and just going like, man, I wish I was there right now. Just cause it was so hot. But like,
Yeah.
I have a bunch of other like fond Star Wars memories, like just dressing up as Obi-Wan or Anakin or a clone trooper or Jango Fett for like multiple different
Yeah.
Halloweens.
Nice.
You know, meeting Grayson for the first time, Star Wars Celebration 2017, the
Yep.
fist bump with Revan, you know, seeing the Battlefront 2 like Clone Wars announcement was very sick as well. And just man, Star Wars is just such a beautiful thing
Oh yeah.
to have in people's lives. I just really appreciate like I mean it sounds cheesy, but like I really appreciate everything that it has done for me because I found
Yeah.
so many fantastic people and had so many great experiences through it.
Oh no, for sure. Another cool one, and another reason that I love going to Celebration. I mean, now though there's no movies, but like back then, that's when you got the trailer for the first time. Like Orlando, we got the Last Jedi trailer for the first time.
Right.
And then Chicago, we got the Rise of Skywalker trailer. So when we were in Chicago,
Oh yeah.
Ricky won the panel to go in there, the Rise of Skywalker panel. But at that time, it was just the episode 9 panel because we didn't know the title, we didn't know nothing. So he went in there. So I went to the main stage on the show floor because on the show floor there was a massive stage you could go to.
Mhm.
So I went there because I wanted to watch the panel and see the trailer. And I was in a crowd of at least 2,000 people, all huddled, crowded by the stage with the big screen to watch the trailer. And
Mhm.
I just remember the end that first trailer for Rise of Skywalker was fire.
Oh yeah.
And
Really
the
good.
the energy from watching it was dope. And then when we at the end of the trailer you hear Palpatine laugh, everybody went nuts.
Yeah.
And then at the end you saw the name Rise of Skywalker, the crowd lost it. And like that energy of everybody losing it, strangers high-fiving each other, it was just such an amazing experience to like watch a trailer for the first time with everybody. And the same thing in London, seeing like the Ahsoka trailer for the first time with a huge crowd, like that energy and that vibe is unmatched.
Everybody going nuts over Star Wars is just such a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
it is, man. It is. Hopefully, you guys could come, man, to Japan because there's a lot of people that want to go. And it'd be just crazy if everybody was all there hanging out, meeting up.
Yeah, it would be awesome to have just like a big general meetup. I mean, imagine like how how much Mortis FM grows in between now
So
and
then, oh
Japan, you
yeah.
know? So like being able to do like a really big meetup with everybody and like the community that everyone's building up, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a ton of fun. So, um, Celebration's awesome. Now, let's talk a little bit about Ahsoka. What did you think
Okay.
overall of Ahsoka? What are your thoughts overall now that we're 2-3 weeks done with it?
In retrospect, Ahsoka is one of the rare shows where I basically feel about the same as I did when I watched it. Like
Yeah.
when I finished watching it, I was like, "That was great," and now I still feel like that was great. You know, it's still sitting in my mind as just a very good Star Wars show. You know, like
Yep.
it's just it brings back the definitive space opera that we know Star Wars to be, and I think it revitalizes a lot of different parts of the mythos that is that had kind of gone to the wayside for a little while. Like
Yeah.
Mortis, especially Mortis was dead and
Oh,
gone. You know, like we had the arc in the Clone Wars, and then we had that brief mural with the world between worlds,
Rebels. Yeah.
and that's it. And now they're bringing it back. Um, in retrospect, I still think that it was I mean, it checked all the boxes for me.
Yeah.
Like, we got some Clone Wars references. We got, some flashbacks. We had Hayden back. We
Yeah.
had a world between worlds. We had Ahsoka basically facing her past and facing herself. We had the transition from Ahsoka the Gray to Ahsoka the
To the
White.
white. Yes.
And Sabine getting to use the Force was very cool. We got Ezra and dude, the like live action Ezra translates so well. And
He
honestly,
did.
yeah, honestly, all of the live action translations just really work for me.
Yep.
And I didn't expect to like Balin and Shin as much as I did.
My favorite part of the show was them too,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah, I 100% agree. They're great. I wish I had a Shin, cardboard cutout right here, Um, and I just cannot wait to see what they do next because it just brought in so many interesting ideas, like a whole new galaxy, my guy. I mean, all right.
Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm down for it. Was more than happy to see World Between Worlds. I'm more than stoked to get more Mortis content.
Oh my god,
Uh,
yes.
it's just like it checked all the boxes for me. Like I'm so satisfied, and like I've gotten to the point where like I was starting to get a little bit jaded from all the stuff that was coming out and then not doing so well.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
And so for the Ahsoka show, one that I was very excited for, I was super cautious. I was like, man,
Yep.
after Mando season 3 finale, like I'm excited for this, but also like, what if it tanks?
Yeah.
But it didn't. I'm so glad that it didn't. So yeah, thank you, Dave Filoni. Thank you, Jon Favreau. Thank you, the Ahsoka show. Everyone that worked on it. I'm super grateful that it's good.
No, for sure. And like you said, I was kind of cautious going too, because it's like I was like, man, it has to be good. But then we said that about Kenobi. Before Kenobi dropped, oh, it has to be a home run. Then it
Yeah,
happened. We said that about Book of Boba. Oh, Boba Fett, badass bounty hunter. You can't mess that up. It happened. And then even Mando season 3, we were like season 1 and season 2 were peak. Mando season 3 has to be
it
good.
has to be good.
So that's like
And
3
then
L's in a row. So like, yeah, going into Ahsoka, I was cautious, but like you said, like it checked all the boxes. The one thing I love that Dave did and I didn't expect was all the new lore. So much new lore in there,
oh yeah,
and it like blew me away. Like the term Boken Jedi,
I love that.
how the Night Sisters aren't from Dathomir. I'm
Yeah,
like, what? Like when they were flying over there and like this is the home world, I was like, you're not from Dathomir? When did this happen?
yeah. And then also their Citadel has murals and text relating to the Zepho.
Zepho. So that too. So the Peridia, I'm so interested in Peridia because like that's where the Night Sisters came from. The ties to the Zepho. So like are the Zepho from there too? But then the Mortis statue. So it's like, is this planet a big like force sensitive planet where like all these cultures are coming from?
Yeah.
I'm I like Timothy Zahn said he wanted to write a book that covers like the 9 years that they were there about Peridia, and I would love it if he wrote a book showing where how Thrawn and Ezra got there
I
and
would eat
stuff
that up.
that so quick because it just would be about Peridia basically. So I love that stuff, but Balin and Shin stole the story, and it's crazy for them to make new characters that we know nothing about, have no expectation, but every episode I just wanted more of both of them. Like they just they were so new but felt so old. Like
Yeah.
Balin with the Qui-Gon vibes, Shin kind of like a Darth Maul, like savage vibe.
Very much so.
Yeah, so it's it was just so good. I knew it was gonna end the way that it did because like we knew this is like a setup for either Filoni's movie or Mando season 4, so we knew it wasn't gonna be a good ending that they were gonna win. But it just sucks now that the wait is gonna be so massive unless it starts in Mando season 4, which I have a feeling this was setting up Mando more than Filoni's movie because
Interesting.
well, because think about it, and like I like not a lot of people were saying this or covering it, but like they name drop Thrawn in Mando season 2. They name
Right.
drop him again in Mando season 3. So every season of Mando since the second one, they're talking about Thrawn, and now Ahsoka ends. They're in the main galaxy, right? So the way Mando season 3 ended, he's chilling. He told Carson Teva, "Hey, if you got any missions, I'll help you out." So it's kind of like all
Yeah.
setting it up. And in Mando season 4, if Moff Gideon's really dead, like who's the big bad? It's Thrawn. Thrawn is there on Dathomir with a bunch of Night Sisters. Like what? Something has to pop off in Mando season 4, and Carson Teva is the tying thread because like he could show up to Navarro and be like, Mando, Thrawn's returned. I need your help or something
Yeah.
like that. And then like I already picture an episode where I see Carson getting Mando and them meeting up with Zeb and Hera and the Ghost, and then like, oh, there's
And
just
Ezra.
Ezra's
We
there.
got Ezra now.
There's so many possibilities, and like, what if we see like Ezra meet Luke in an episode or something
Oh
like
man.
that?
I'm kind of I kind of pitched this to Grayson that like it's possible that Ezra could be like the new Kyle Katarn
Hmm.
of canon, you know? He could fulfill this role now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could easily see this leading into like either, you know, Filoni's movie, which, you know, I'm just going to call Heir to the Empire at this point.
Yep.
Or, you know, Mando season 4. I really just want to see what's going to happen with Ahsoka season 2.
Yeah. Like, do you
I
think it's gonna come before the movie or after the movie?
I don't know. And if it comes after the movie, I'm gonna be bothered, but only because I
Really?
want it's only because I want to see what happens now.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like only
yeah.
because of my own impatience. Like I desperately want to see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we did like a little bit of a time skip. Like,
Hmm.
what if we did a time skip where, you know, Ahsoka and Sabine have been traveling on Peridea for some time. Sabine's trained up. Shin has bolstered like this raider group now. Like
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
become like the de facto leader. And Balin is nowhere to be seen. And then they're trying to track him down, like see where he went. You know, I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if they did like, I don't know, maybe a year or two time skip. And that could be warranted if like up next we see the movie and then Mando season 4 and then what's going on in Peridea.
yeah.
Um I don't know, man. I'm really I am pleasantly surprised. It's a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I'm glad that Ahsoka, Sabine, Balin, and Shin, like their story and their, you know, hero villain dynamic is now controlled again.
Yeah.
I had mentioned on a previous episode of Mortis FM that it had initially upset me because you know, watching episodes 1 to 4 in Ahsoka, like you just love the dynamic between
Yep.
Ahsoka, Sabine, and Balin and Shin.
Yep.
And then to bring Thrawn into the picture, as much as I love Thrawn, Balin and Shin took a back seat. And so I
Oh, they
was like,
did. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, man, like I really want them to be like the, you know, the big villains of, you know, Ahsoka. And now Thrawn's out of the picture. We've released Thrawn into the wild, back into the galaxy.
Yeah.
And now we're back at a point where it's all about these four key characters.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to see what they do with them, man. Like they're just so compelling to me.
I know. I know. I can't wait for all the strikes to finish because then it's kind of like I want them to get everything together to let us know what's happening. Like, are we gonna get a
Yeah.
season 2? Is it gonna be before the movie? Is it gonna be after? Because like if it's before the movie, cool, then that means Ahsoka will probably be in the movie because I'm sure they'll eventually get back. If it's after the movie, then that means no Ahsoka, no Balin, no Shin, no Sabine in the movie, which I'm
Right.
fine with because you have enough other people, Luke, Han, Leia. You're gonna have Ezra. You're gonna have Mando. You're gonna have Boba. There'll be plenty of Avengers to have
Please,
in the
Boba.
end game. Yeah. So, yeah, I cannot wait, man. I'm looking forward to that. It's just this wait is gonna kill us. It's 2023 right now. If we're lucky, we'll get Filoni's movie in 2026, 2027,
Oof.
if that,
Oh,
if
that's
that.
hard.
And I think I saw reports earlier today. They're gonna start filming the Rey movie next April. So that'll probably try to be out in 2026 late. Yeah.
That is a
So
whole other thing too, dude. Like, I mean, we're talking basically a new era here.
yeah,
What is it, like 15 years
I
after
think
Rise of Skywalker?
yeah, I think it's like 10, 15 years. Originally, the first director was doing 50, 60 years, and they were gonna have an old Ray,
Oh my
but they
god.
scrapped
That's
his
right.
plan, and it's gonna be like 10, 15 years after with the current day Ray, like older but younger. So I think
Wow.
that's a I don't know. I'm hoping it comes out good, but like, bro, if you're telling me a Ray movie or a Filoni movie, like the Filoni one should have been first. Like that's the one I'm excited for.
Yeah, it's I mean, I could talk about the sequels all day, man. Like there are some parts that I'm cool with, but
Yeah.
overall, like especially with the way that Rise of Skywalker ended, I would say that I was dissatisfied.
Yep.
And with this Rey movie, it's like, listen, guys, I know that you're releasing this because you're trying to patch up, the
Yeah.
sequel trilogy. So what are you gonna do? Like, if you're not having Rey go into the world between worlds to bring back Kylo
Yeah.
or Ben Solo, um, I'm gonna be upset, just because I really want to see. I just want him. I want his character to be further explored, and even though I doubt it would happen, I would love to see John Boyega reprise his role as Finn.
That too.
Um,
Like if we don't get one of those two or both of them,
yeah.
people are going to be upset right away. It's like this isn't the smartest business decision for your first Star Wars movie in at that point it'll be 7 years. So you're telling me
Oh
we waited
man.
7 years for a Rey movie. And now it could be fire cuz like the one thing they did like I did like the villains. Like I did love Kylo.
Right.
Snoke in the first episode was badass. Like
Yeah,
he
he was
looked so
very
evil.
cool. I was so interested.
Yeah. So I mean, there's potential for that, but like, bro, there's a Filoni movie cooking, and even that Dawn of the Jedi movie, I'm more interested in that, knowing
That's right.
nobody in that's 25,000 years in the past. There's no expectation of nothing except Hu Yang. Now I expect Hu Yang to be in there because he
Yeah.
confirmed he's been around that long. So now it's kind of like, damn, if Hu Yang is not in that movie, I might be a little salty, like a little bit.
He's gonna be that connecting thread for sure. And since they established this new timeline and they actually have a definitive point in time where it says the Old Republic and they show the
Yeah.
Old Republic logo from the MMO,
Yeah.
I'm a very big Old Republic fan. I love Revan. I love HK-47, Karth, like Bastila. I love
Yeah.
that era. And so I want to see that explored too. And so, I mean, honestly, there is so much going on in Star Wars right now. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited about it because there's just so much future stuff to cover. Namely, coming up, The Acolyte. I'm so pumped for that.
Did you illegally watch that trailer too?
Let's just say that if someone had acquired it by less than legal means, my eyes may or may not have perceived it, and I loved it.
So when I saw
Potentially.
at Celebration London, they showed us the Ahsoka trailer on the first day, and then they showed us the Acolyte trailer. I literally was just as hyped for Acolyte as I was for Ahsoka until the next day when they showed us another Ahsoka trailer and we got to see Thrawn's face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that took the hype back. But Acolyte looks like a banger. Like spoilers if you haven't seen the illegal trailer, but there's a scene where there's like 6 Jedi and they
Yeah.
all ignite their lightsaber. And right away, I'm like, wait a minute. What is across from 6 Jedi that they would ignite their lightsaber? Is there going to be 6 red blades across, like 6 Sith?
Ooh, man.
Like we've never seen anything like that in like live action. Like that stuff you see in video games and you see in comics and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, even though that lady said like the stuff she said about George and the prequels or whatever from like an old interview, which was a little controversial, but I
Yeah,
I think it could be a sleeper show, man.
I 100% agree. I think largely the way that her quotes were um said was like a little bit misinterpreted. I think she
Yeah,
was
for
I
sure.
think she, yeah, I think she was just kind of saying that like uh I think it was just a commentary on like Star Wars purists
Yeah.
of like people saying what can and cannot be Star Wars. Ultimately I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, I'm
Oh
all
yeah.
for, scenes where we have like rows of Jedi, lighting their lightsabers. And I mean, just take the deceived cinematic trailer from the Old Republic MMO when Malgus storms the Jedi Temple,
Oh.
and you see droves of Jedi versus Sith. I cannot wait to see something like that when we go into that era.
And I think they made a comment saying that there's a scene that has the most Jedi in it in any Star Wars project, even more than
What?
Genosis from Attack of the Clones. That they said there's more Jedi in this than in the Genosis fight in that pit.
There's no way like that's gonna look that will either look ridiculous or it will look amazing.
Yeah.
It can be one of the two.
I know for my reaction video, whenever I watch it, I know I'm gonna scream the minute I see that Wookiee Jedi
Oh yeah,
ignite his blade and start swinging and moving like a Jedi. It's good. Oh,
man.
it's gonna be so cool.
I'm so excited for that. I mean, if it is at the same level of quality of either Ahsoka or Andor, I am 100% down.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But I think the first thing we're gonna get though is Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is probably
That's
gonna be the
right.
first project because that finished like filming and everything. I think before Acolyte, I think literally we were supposed to get it like next month or in December, but everything got pushed back because of the strikes. So, what are your thoughts on Skeleton Crew, if any? There's not much to go on.
Um, so Skeleton Crew. Wait, let me see if I can remember real fast. Isn't it about like Jude Law, who is potentially a Force user,
Yeah,
that is basically he like watches over a skeleton crew of like a bunch of kids, right?
I think it's so. I saw the trailer at London. I vaguely remember it. There's illegal ones online, but um, it's like these four kids. It's kind of like a Stranger Things in space vibe I get from it. And like, there's four kids that live on some planet, and like it seems like they're getting into trouble, and they steal a ship and they escape. And I think Jude Law has to go find them. So it's
Oh,
something like that. Now, there were rumors at one point, kind of, that maybe this takes place in that separate galaxy, which would be very intriguing.
yeah.
But it doesn't make sense that for it to be there because in the trailer, one of the spoilers, one of the pirates from Mando season 3, Bane, I think his name is. Remember the episode of Mando season 3 with all the pirates?
Mm-hmm.
And how one of them kind of escaped and like left at the end while when the ship was crashing and stuff.
Oh,
He
okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that guy is in Skeleton Crew because they show him in the trailer.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, well, it has to be in this galaxy. But a weird thing that there were rumors for the longest that Ahsoka was going to make a cameo in this, which I thought, okay, that's cool. But like, she's in another galaxy now, so is that possible?
Yeah,
So
it's
I
one
don't
of
know
those
what to
questions
expect.
where it's like, why? You
Yeah,
know? Uh, when I so is it taking place before the sequel trilogy?
yeah, no, this is Mandoverse. So allegedly, this is
Okay.
supposedly in between Mando season 3 and season 4, and I think it's supposed to be connect everything.
Oh, okay. I honestly thought that it was like a one-off story that just wasn't related to anything else. But I mean,
Yeah,
hey, I'm up for it. I would say it's out of all of the projects I've heard about, it's probably one of the ones I'm least excited about.
yeah, me too.
Yeah, and like not to say that like I think it'll be bad. I don't think it'll be bad at all. Like I can't wait to see it. But like I'm so much more excited for everything else.
Oh yeah, hands
Now
down.
it could be like Andor, where it's just a sleeper hit. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, when they did that, what was it? It was either Variety or some kind of entertainment magazine where like you had Mando and Ahsoka and Obi-Wan and
Yeah, and
Cassian
or yeah, that
all
photo
posing
shoot
together, and then there were
that was so
memes.
cool.
There were memes about how like Andor was the odd one out, and it's like when someone makes a show about something that you never wanted, and it's just a zoom in of Diego Luna's face, just like kind of just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
grimacing, and then it's ironic because out of all of them, like I felt that Andor ended up doing the best. And so like I wonder if it will have that same kind of situation where it's like everybody's sleeping on Skeleton Crew, but oh, it just so happens to be one of the best Star Wars things that's come out in the past couple years.
we'll see. Because I like John Watts because he did the Spider-Man trilogy. Like he did
Yeah.
all the new ones. No Way Home was a banger. So I trust him. We'll see. Because like when they were filming No Way Home, John Watts pitched this idea to John Fav, and he brought it to Disney. So it's John
Okay.
Watts and John Fav that are like that worked on this together. So
Okay.
I mean, it should be good, but we've said that in the past before.
It should be. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm going to go into this show with no expectations.
Yeah,
Literally
exactly.
none.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm probably not even going to look up anything relevant about it at this point because I just want to go in and see it. Just see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah. So I know we got Skeleton Crew, Acolyte. I don't think with the strike still going on, I have a feeling they're going to spread it out. Like I think we'll get
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew in 2024. I think Acolyte will be 2025.
Man.
Because yeah, but I think they're going to give us either Tales season 2
Ooh.
or Bad Batch season 3 next year, and then whichever one they don't give us, put the other one in 2025, because like they gotta like save their content because they're not filming or doing anything right now.
Yeah.
So it has to be spread out. So Tales season 2, I'm wondering if they're gonna drop it all at once like they did, or if they're gonna milk it. Which honestly, I would rather them milk it, because I would look forward to it every week, and just it'd be nice to have something to look forward to.
I 100% agree. Like, I almost feel like watching it, like all of it at one time, not only puts in a sense of urgency,
Mhm.
but also just kind of it's like a one and done kind of thing. Because I
Yeah,
watched all of Tales of the Jedi in like an hour, like a couple hours,
yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And then I was like, wow, that was fantastic, and it's done now. So if they wanted to, they could make Tales of the Jedi season 2 and either have more episodes
I
or
wish.
just make the episodes longer.
I wish.
Um,
So I forgot about Tails, but Tails was another reason I had a little anger towards Andor, because
uh-huh.
you wake up that Wednesday and I watched. I don't know if that was the episode where Cereal's just eating cereal and getting smacked by his mom, but then I watched Tails and I see this lovely arc with Ahsoka. I see Dooku, I see Yaddle, Palpatine. So it's like going from that to like that episodes of Andor. I was like, man, like I think that was kind of messed up that they did that, because Tails was like peak Star Wars lore, like in the middle of
Yeah.
Andor was very weird.
It I will give that it is completely tonally different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like two different kinds of Star Wars
Yep.
right there. And I mean, I guess I will like say at the very least, there's a little bit of Star Wars for everybody. You
Oh,
know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but you do bring up some interesting points that now I am curious as to how they will potentially work with this supposed content drought in case the strikes continue to go on. So maybe in order to save face, studios maybe should fold and go ahead and give the people what they want.
Yeah, no, they no, they need to. It's been way too long. Like it's gonna affect them bad.
It is. I
So
mean, it is already at this point.
yeah, it is, man. Um, but yeah, Tails, Bad Batch.
Can't wait for that.
I think, yeah. So we saw the trailer at, man, London just spoiled us with all these damn trailers. We saw the trailer for Bad Batch season 3. It looks dark and gritty, and like it looks like everyone's just gonna die. It looks very like deep.
Man, I I cannot wait to see what they do for season 3 because it's the way that these animated shows work. They always start off a little weak and then they get immediately peak.
Oh, insane.
Um,
Yeah.
Although I will say, Bad Batch is kind of an outlier because Bad Batch's first episode, like,
Oh, that was crazy. Like the
it was like
hour
an
and
hour
15.
long.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was incredible because it was overlapping with Revenge of the Sith, and you see
yeah,
Palpatine's speech to all the clones. Like, oh, I eat that up.
yeah, yeah. No, Bad Batch has some peak stuff in season 2. Like there was a lot of filler, but like there were
Mhm.
some episodes that were insane. Like the Zillow Beast episode, I was like,
Zillow
what?
Beast episode.
And it was weird. At one point, 4 episodes overlap with Mando season 3, and like to me, the Bad Batch episodes were better than the Mando episodes were that week, which was crazy.
I remember that being like kind of a gag at the time that
Yeah,
people were like, "Why is Bad Batch better than Mando right now?"
yeah, yeah. Like I think 3 out of the 4 episodes were like, this was way better than the Mando episode, which was nuts. You would never expect to say that, or that would happen.
Dude, you've got like you've got that moment with like the Zepho mech.
Yeah,
And then you've got Scorch coming up. You've
yeah,
got
yes,
you've got
yes.
the like these Mount Tantus episodes. You've got the
The Tannis
Crosshair episodes with Mayday. Like
Mayday, man. Rest in
season
peace,
2,
Mayday, man.
rest in
Rest
peace,
in
Mayday.
peace. Mm.
They just had such good
Cody,
stuff coming out of the yes,
Cody
Cody,
going AWOL. Oh,
Cody as
where is
well.
Cody at? Can we get like, if Bad Batch is it's finishing the show, but like after it's done, please give us another show. Give us a show, Cody, or something, man. Oh,
So I'm pitching it like this: if Bad Batch is ending with season 3,
uh-huh.
what I think that they're building up is for a clone rebellion, you know?
Oh,
And
I would
so
love that.
what if they do like this, if it's not resolved in season 3 of Bad Batch, what if they do like this clone rebellion show,
I would
you
love it.
know?
Call it The Clones, a Star Wars story. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah, it's just
god.
all of the boys squatting up and going against the Empire, and because they're building up this plight of the clones post Order 66 and in the Dark Time era, you know?
Yeah.
And so I would be remiss if it wasn't further covered outside of that season 3. I want to see more. I
Yeah.
want to see Rex and Cody and Wolf and Gregor. I want to see more of Delta Squad. Where are they at?
Yeah.
I want to see Rex talk to Echo about what happened to Fives. Like, I got to see that stuff. I
Oh,
got to see that stuff.
that would be so cool, man. I hope, man. I just have a feeling we're not gonna get any info for a long time, and I hope this doesn't
Yeah.
happen. But I hope they don't like not tell us anything until Japan Celebration. Like I hope that they're not just like, oh, we're gonna just save all these reveals and announcements for then. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be there, but like a year and a half wait of being in blind in the dark times, man, they need to like let us know what's going on the minute they figure it out, man.
It We have the potential here of having like a massive content drought.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, if that is what happens, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to find like more stuff to talk about in the meantime. Uh, but yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Like, if I don't find out what Balin's doing in like the next 2 years, I'm gonna be so upset.
Oh, I don't think we will, man.
I
Unless,
know, I know.
well, the best surprise, since we have no idea who Tales of the Jedi season 2 is gonna follow, if they were smart and like pre-planned it, and it's Balin and Shin for 3 of the episodes, and we get
Oh
to see
man.
like the first episode Balin as a young Jedi training, and then the second episode of his, we see him escaping Order 66, and then the third
Hmm.
episode, we see him finding Shin and taking her on. That just would be beautiful, man.
Maybe like
Beautiful.
his like first episode or something. It's him being told the stories of whatever it is he's talking about that is on Peridia, which kind of ignites that flame.
Oh, yes.
Um,
The fairy tales, the tales,
yeah,
like,
because
because he
that's why
said
he's there.
Peridia. Yeah, he
Yeah.
knew the name. He said Peridia before Morgan or anybody said it. Wow, him as a youngling hearing those stories.
What if he heard it from like
Oh,
Sifo Dyas or something?
damn. Damn.
There
Yeah,
is a lot of potential here, but man, Balin is just such an interesting character. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
I know, I know. And it's funny you said that we're gonna be in a drought. So I'm gonna bring this article up real quick. I don't know if you saw the New York Comic Con reveals for some books and some comics that are coming out next year.
So I do know that we're about to get. I think we're in like part 3 of or phase 3 of the High Republic.
Yeah,
I see.
so there's that, but hold on, let me zoom in a little. All right, so they announced a ton of stuff, and like a lot of it I'm excited for, right? So the first thing is a Mace Windu comic book line, and
Ooh,
this is because it's the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace next year. So it's a line of comics, Mace Windu during Phantom Menace. This is gonna be cool.
I love the way that they have the glow of his lightsaber there. It
Yeah.
looks so ethereal, man. I'm
Yep.
excited for Mace. Like I think Mace as a character gets slept on a lot. I
Oh,
think
he does.
I think it gets trashed on way too much. I mean, like he was an exemplary Jedi. Like there's
Mhm.
no denying that. So I just think that, man, I'm rating that. I will be on top of that.
You don't think he was too mean to Anakin, and that's why Anakin turned to the dark side because Mace was so mean to him?
Dude, like people go like, man, Mace was so mean to Anakin, so it's because he was mean. I mean, like, did could he have trusted Anakin more? Yeah, but the rest of the order could have. Like,
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
um, man.
So yeah,
The party is just getting started with Star Wars Mace Windu. Look at that.
so this starts it starts in January. So it's a mini series. So I think the mini series are probably like 6 comic book run or something like that. So that's cool. I'm definitely gonna grab all that. Like that's cool. But this next comic, just
Oh.
as juicy, Jango Fett.
Yo!
Yep.
Star
So
Wars Jango Fett. Okay.
this drops in March. It's a mini series about Django. So probably like 6 comic book run or whatever mini series are. But Jango
Yes,
Fett, let's go.
dude.
That's awesome.
Give me some scenes with Django and Cad Bane. They were rivals, man.
Oh
One
yeah.
of Cad Bane's exclusive reasons for training Boba was because he wanted to train Boba to the point of Django so that they could face off again.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
I saw this. I was excited. I'm like, that's cool. Like, okay. Now, like, I for a little bit, I was going to the comic book shop and getting a bunch of stuff, but bro, comic books are such a dangerous rabbit hole because like I started collecting one of the Star Wars lines, and then I go in and there's a different Star Wars line. So I started getting both, and then I see a cool Spider-Man line. So I grabbed that, and then they drop like a Punisher line. So it's like you go and you end up getting like 6, 7 comics at a time every week. Yeah.
Let me pop out my Darth Vader
Oh,
omnibus. I
yes.
completely know what you're talking about. When I walked into a Barnes and Noble and bought this entire ass
That's
thing
so convenient.
and read it, I read it in like a few days.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader like Charles Soule run, um, man, it's
So good.
so good. This is the Gil and LaRocca and Delgado one, but like also just it's all of the Darth Vader comics, man. I completely get what you're saying. Like it's a complete rabbit hole.
Yeah. And like I stopped for a while, but now it's like I'm gonna get 2024 every new comic Star Wars I'm getting. That's it. And like the damn variant covers, bro. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
that's the worst when you go in and it's like, oh, and then there's 3 variants and they're all there. So many times I've bought in all of them just to complete the set.
It's the collectibles, man.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
if they come out with a fully fledged Grievous comic, because I'm obsessed with
Oh,
I
that'd
mean
be sick.
Grievous is my favorite Star Wars villain, and it's one of the strangest takes in the world because he has, at least in canon, he has little to no nuance.
Yeah,
And I love characters with nuance. I tell like anytime I'm like, oh, my favorite character is this because of this, and that.
yeah.
But like, I'll tell you, I love Grievous just because he's like, when I was a kid, like I saw this massive cyborg wielding 4 lightsabers and spinning
Yeah,
around.
man.
I thought
Yeah.
that was insane. I
It's
love
so
Grievous,
cool.
dude.
Thrawn Alliance's comic run.
Oh, so I love what they're doing here, where they basically redo the Timothy Zahn novels in
Yep,
comics. I think that's a great way to just pair them along with reading the Thrawn books. I honestly feel like I
it
should do that
is.
at some point.
So this is kind of cool that they're doing it, right? And like people right away were saying, "Oh, we're finally gonna get to see what the Grisk look like," because there's no
Right.
like real picture of them. So whatever's in here, we'll get the official like art of what a Grisk would look like.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Very
So
excited for that.
and this is also cool that they're doing this because I bet you a ton of normies watched Ahsoka and were like, "What's the big deal about this blue guy that looks like Elon Musk?" So this is an easy way for them just to look at pictures because they're not going to read 3 trilogies or this trilogy. You know what I mean?
No,
So
no.
this is going to be cool, and I could already tell they're going to have crazy variant covers that I'm going to want all of them, man. Oh,
Dude, all of the design, like there are so many fantastic designs that are accompanied with Thrawn.
yeah,
Um, it's something about the blue and the red.
yeah,
It's
it
so
pops.
good.
Yeah. Now these next 2, are you ready for this?
Oh yeah.
This could be juicy. So I think it's 2 books
Oh man.
by Dark Horse. I don't know why the balloons went up. It's I don't know
Yeah.
update, but
I was so confused by that.
yeah,
Hey,
I think
it's
if I do certain
celebrating.
things, yeah. See, it's so excited. Like, look, so this is by Dark Horse. They're 2 graphic Dark Horse novels: Hyperspace Stories Qui-Gon, Hyperspace Stories Obi-Wan. That's a good sign. Dark Horse graphic novels, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, 2 separate books.
Please tell me Grievous is gonna be in the Obi-Wan one. I just want to
Oh,
go there.
there's a chance, right? That he could be in one of them, right?
Dude,
So
I'm gonna eat that Qui-Gon one up though. I
yeah,
cannot wait for that.
yep.
Oof.
So two new graphic novels, like bro, fire! I cannot wait for those. So that was cool. Now next is some of the phase 3, like you mentioned earlier, the High Republic. So this is a comic, right? So this is
Yes,
Shadows
sir.
of Starlight issue 4, and then there's a book here. Now this is by Dark Horse too. Did Dark Horse do any of the other High Republic stuff?
I don't
I don't. I feel like
know.
they weren't. I feel like they've been gone for a while, and all of a sudden now they're back.
Yeah,
But
I thought Dark Horse was done and gone.
so this is a Dark Horse book, High Republic Adventure number 3, and like this cover looks insane.
What is that? What's that weapon that he's holding, man?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, some High Republic stuff that could be interesting. I haven't really gotten into a lot of it, but like this looks intriguing.
Yeah, I really want to see. I mean, you're starting to see High Republic seep more into different parts of Star Wars. So like Jedi Survivor, and
Survivor.
now we have
Yep.
the Acolyte.
Yep.
It's such an interesting era that we have really just scratched the surface on, and
Yep.
I want to dive right into it. I want to get started by reading Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule, because apparently, like, this story is, in terms of the general Star Wars fan base, High Republic's being slept on right now.
Yeah. Oh, it is for sure. So, and then they're also dropping this book. It's a lightsaber collection from the High Republic. So we'll get to see all the hilts, which is kind of cool. And they're actually releasing one of the hilts. So it's going to be at Disney Shop and at Galaxy's Edge. Whoever this guy is, Stellan Geos, his hilt. So it looks kind of cool. Not gonna lie, it looks like a sword, like Arthur Knights kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, they've got this entire vibe about them, like very knightly, very high fantasy.
Yeah.
For High Republic stuff. I love it. Look at that
Yeah.
cross guard.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of cool. So they got that cooking. Next, this Return of the Jedi Visual Archives book.
Ooh, look at that Force Ghost Anakin at the bottom down there.
I know. I cannot wait for this, man. There's probably gonna be so many dope little nuggets in there and pictures and stuff. So this is sometime next year, I believe. But March. It drops in March. So this is gonna be a pickup for sure.
Oh yeah, I love the way that that's looking already. It reminds me of like very like classic Star Wars poster designs.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it.
No, for sure. And then this a dad joke, a Star Wars dad joke book.
Hey, it's by Kelly Knox. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna pick it up because it's probably gonna be like funny and corny, but like, come on, Star Wars dad jokes, like that'll be hilarious.
Dad jokes, dude. I'll probably end up getting it. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, super funny. Then I guess they're showing us a glimpse inside of a Dark Horse comic called Tales from the Death Star. Have you ever heard of that?
It reminds me of that like Halloween thing that they did about like Vader's castle. You remember that? Remember that comic run?
Yeah.
It's kind of making me think about that.
So it says just in time for Halloween, so maybe that's dropping this month, or maybe it's out now.
Okay.
But it looks pretty interesting. Some of the he looks like a zombie right there. Oh god. Look at Tarkin.
What's he? Okay. I'm here for this. Oh.
Yeah, so I'm probably I need to swing by my local comic book shop and see what this is, but
what is that?
Right? Like this looks crazy.
Dude, Star Wars comics go into a complete other level of Star Wars.
Oh, they do. They really do.
What's that? Hey, what's that right below? I see Dexter Jetster at the bottom.
Yes. So what is this from? Oh, I guess this is from a page in the High Republic character encyclopedia. So Dexter Jetster, renowned hyperspace prospector. So there's him. There's Maz Kanata.
Hey, okay.
The Nameless. What is the Nameless? Is that kind of
The,
looks like that creature from the page before? No.
it's this kind of
Oh, it's High Republic. I think.
y-
Look right
y-
there.
yeah, it's one of the High Republic like big bads right now. Um,
Oh,
it's like a force. It like consumes the force, which is really
really?
yeah. I mean, it honestly makes me think of Abeloth in a strange way, but it kind
Yeah,
of has like that cosmic horror type element.
man. And then Porter Engel, which no idea who this dude is.
Huh. Okay.
Maybe High Republic. Path of the Open Hand. That's the last page. So, yeah, they're just showing some shots from this encyclopedia, and I think the last thing is just this kid's book,
Oh, that's
and
cute.
yeah, it's called Jedi Brave in Every Way,
Uh,
and it's about this Wookiee Jedi and Yoda take a field trip to Geonosis.
they go to Geonosis.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
perfect place to go. Nothing bad happens in Geonosis.
yeah, exactly. So I saw this and I'm like, all right, cool. If even though it's the dark times, like at least we got a couple the archive book, we got some other books potentially. We got these two graphic novels, like these two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are gonna be juicy, and then just the comics too. So we will have some content to keep us busy. It's just gonna be the reading kind of content.
Yeah, it's a lot more on the literary side, which I'm okay with. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I've started stepping up my game with reading more books and whatnot. So I mean, I'm here for it. It's like Star Wars is trying to encourage us to read more, so I'm cool
Yeah.
with it.
I'm about to start the Plagueis novel. I've heard it's
Ooh.
so good, and I've had it forever. I'm gonna finally start it. The one I literally have like 30 books, and I've read
Mhm.
one. They just look good on my bookcase. I need to start reading them, but the one I read, bro, you have to read it.
Which one?
Dooku Jedi Lost is
Oh,
amazing. Do you have it or have you read it?
I don't have it, but I know of it. Grayson has read it.
Oh,
I'm
so
here
good.
with you that I have a bunch of Star Wars books on my shelf, but I haven't read any of them.
Yep, yep,
Plagueis is also one of those. I want to start reading it as well.
yep.
Hey, maybe that could be the first one that we read on Mortis FM if you want to follow along with us.
Yeah, that'd be actually
Um,
be perfect. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I think I wanted to read the Force Unleashed novelizations. I really want to
Oh,
read Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray.
yeah.
Um, it's there's a lot of good, also canon Star Wars content
Mhm.
that you can read. So yeah, man. Now I'm just thinking about just picking. I'm looking at my books right now. I just want to pick one up.
No, yeah, for sure. And then Dooku Jedi Lost, watch it and then watch Tales of the Jedi again because it makes Tales hit so much harder because like knowing more about Dooku because like
Yeah.
in the book it's him and Asajj Ventress the whole time trying to find a sister and
Mhm.
it is crazy, especially the ending. The ending is wild. Like the way it ended, I'm like, yo, Dooku is a savage.
Does it make you perceive Dooku's character a bit differently?
No, it kind of gives you more understanding of him and how he grew up because there's a lot with Sifo Dyas in there. There's a lot with
Yeah.
Yoda in there. So you learn more about that. I think Tales of the Jedi kind of makes you perceive Dooku character different because you learn a lot in Tales of the Jedi about like why he eventually turned because you see it in all the different stages of those episodes.
Right.
But the book just enhances Tales of the Jedi even more, man.
I'll have to check it out. I mean, yeah, I've heard nothing but high praise.
Yeah, and like
Um,
you know it's good when I have like 30 different books and I couldn't stop reading it. Like I have a
yeah,
couple books where I've started and I just never went back. Like I just move on to other things. But like Dooku Jedi Lost, I could not put it down. I
some
think it's
books you just get stuck on.
yeah, I think a lot of it is there's a lot of Asajj Ventress, and I love Asajj. She is so slept on, man. And like when they mentioned her in Ahsoka, I was so happy, man. She needs to get like we need her in live action, man.
That's that's why I am so upset that her story was continued in Dark Disciple and not in another Clone Wars season.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think didn't they originally have more Clone Wars episodes, and that's what Dark Disciple was based on, was
yep,
unused. Yeah. Come
Yep,
on,
and
Dave.
they could have done it. Her and Quinlan Voss, dude. Like that was what it was
Oh,
all about. It would have been so cool.
that would just be a sick movie, like such a dark love story. Like if they did that as a movie, Quinlan Voss and Asajj. Oh my
I mean,
god.
here's the thing. What if it was in Tales of the Jedi season 2? You know,
Oh, you know what?
because she was technically a Jedi before, or it could
She
be about Quinlan
was
Voss. You know,
because he went a little dark with her.
right? So how about this? Tales of the
Oh,
Jedi season
oh my
2.
god.
We've got 3 episodes of Balin and Shin, and then 3 episodes of Ventress and Quinlan Voss. That's
We have to stop right now because our
yeah,
expectations, if we don't get that,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, that would be the most insane Tales of the Jedi. If it was those two sets of people
I'd be
that
obsessed.
and it's like almost all of them are like light dark teetering both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. And yeah, Asajj was she was a Jedi. She was a Jedi. She saw her master get killed in front of her. She got a new master. He got killed in front of her, and then she kind of went dark and went to Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Now I want that, man.
Yeah, because now that I'm thinking about it, there's the more that there is a story of Asajj in Tales of the Jedi, the more that increases the chances of having a scene with General Grievous in it. So,
Oh.
like, you remember in the Tartakovsky's Clone Wars,
Uh-huh.
where like she's training with Grievous,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
um, that could be a potential scene, or I think like it might not have been in that show. I think it was on the comic based on the show,
Mhm.
where Grievous and what was it? Was it Asajj and Dirge versus Grievous or something like that? Either way, they trained with each other, and I feel like that could be a really cool scene to pull off. Dude, Tales of the Jedi season 2, man, just announce it, have it out.
I know. What if I mean I don't think it'll be in Mando season 4, or I don't know if it'll be in the Ahsoka season 2 or in the movie, but like what if on Dathomir, since Thrawn is on Dathomir with a bunch of bodies and the 3 night grandmothers, whatever they're called, like what if they like try to resurrect like Asajj? Or
Oh,
what if there's flashbacks where Thrawn's like, what happens here? Like what happens to all your people? And we get to see a flashback of Grievous
oh,
there.
I would love that. Oh man, what if they like find a way to like curse his spirit
Oh, and bring
and
him back and use him, and he'll have like the green glowing eyes, like in
yeah,
Rebels when they possess
yeah,
Kanan and Sabine.
yeah,
Oh man,
because Grievous also is the one that kills Talzin in the comics too.
yeah,
Like he not only destroyed like led the assault on the Night Sisters, he does the killing blow on Talzin. So
mm,
like he's probably, enemy number 1 for them. So
yeah,
if what if they like resurrected his spirit and basically like used him as like a tortured warrior?
yeah.
Right.
Wow,
That's just more Grievous content. Anyway,
yeah.
that would be great.
So that's pretty much everything I have. Do you want to go over the thing that you had, the card?
Okay. Yeah. So there is this thing that Grayson and I are going to start doing in Mortis FM, where it's basically these Star Wars cards by Kelly Knox. You can find it on Amazon,
Oh,
where they are Star Wars conversation cards where you pull one and there's something that like there's just something you can talk about. We're going to be doing it
yeah,
at basically the end of every Mortis FM episode. And Grayson has the cards. He sent me a picture that I will unveil right now to see what it is.
nice.
Okay, what is the scariest creature in Star Wars?
Oh, the scariest creature. Abeloth.
I was
um
I was gonna say like probably
That
Abeloth.
yeah, it would have to be something like that, because I mean, like you could say Rancor, that's terrifying. You're in a cave and you see a Rancor, but you could kill that easy. Like, come on, that's fine. But like, uh,
I've
may, maybe something with like Night Sisters too, because they're pretty terrifying too and pretty powerful.
yeah. Here's my here's probably my vote. That friggin' space thing in the Kessel Run in Solo.
Oh, that's a good one. That
That thing
creature.
that like comes out of the dark. Now that is like
Yeah.
HP Lovecraftian horror kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where like it tries to eat them up and it ends up getting lost in this black hole.
Yeah.
Basically, that thing is scary, dude. Oh man.
Yeah. No, that.
The parasites in the Clone Wars episode that go up your nose.
Oh, yeah, that turned the clones, and didn't one go in Ahsoka too, and then they got it out, or almost did?
Yeah. Man.
I think I'm with you on that, man. Those damn parasites, because they took you over like completely, bro. Completely.
They go up your nose. It's so disgusting.
Yeah, that's so creepy.
I hated that. Well,
No,
that's a pretty straightforward question. Not entirely thought provoking, but
yeah,
very. Hey, honestly, it's perfect because we've got Halloween coming up, so
yeah.
I think it works.
No, yeah, and I know me and Grayson did one last week, but ours was like, "What's your favorite Star Wars fruit?" It was something like really weird, like, "Oh, Malurun, I guess," because like, well,
Yeah.
what other fruit do you know in the Star Wars universe? So it was a little weird, but I think the one you had on your show was a pretty good question.
That
I
one
forgot
was
what it
nuts.
was.
It
Yeah, what?
was if the Kaminoans offered
Oh,
you like
to
this
clone yourself.
tremendous sum of money
Yeah,
to become like the candidate
yeah,
for their clone army, would you do it?
yeah. That was a good one because there's a lot of thought that could go into that for sure.
So, just out of curiosity, since the question's out there, what would be your answer?
If they would clone me for money, uh
And like, keep in mind, this is like Jango Fett money. Like, you will not want for anything at this point. Like, they're gonna pay you billions of credits in order
I
to be the guy.
I probably would do it because then I probably would want the same thing Django got, but like give me a clone of myself that doesn't age. That way I have a little sidekick and I just go out on my adventures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I respect that.
I probably would do it as long as I get a little clone, and then I just would just avoid all the Jedi and just go do my own thing in a separate part of the galaxy to not get killed.
Maybe go get a face change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, as long as I get a little mini me, like a little boba, that's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah. Little Tony. Big Tony, little Tony. Yeah, I respect that.
Yes. All right. So what do you guys have coming up next on your channel that the people could look forward to?
So up next on the channel, I believe we're going to start going into some associated retrospectives for different shows. I think we're going to cover Andor, Tales of the Jedi, Clone Wars. But then also we are going to start our read along.
Nice.
The book has yet to be decided. But just stay tuned. We've over at Mortis FM, we always have something Star Wars to talk about. So stay tuned.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And that's going to be it for this episode of Sith Talk. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.